Mainstream comics have been trashed for years now, and whenever a new series launches from Marvel or DC, we sit and wonder what narratives are they going to shove in our faces today. But of course, one of the big series DC was recently pushing was Superman Son of Kal-El, because they decided to make John Kent bisexual and have him go to climate change rallies and scream to the world about his sexuality. But apparently, the series hasn't done that good because they have canceled it after only 18 issues. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So starting with the CBR article, it says Superman Son of Kal-El ending with issue 18, and they are debuting a mini-series in 2023. Now, I have talked about this series quite a lot on the channel just because there has been a lot of drama surrounding it. Initially, Tom Taylor said, oh, it was doing amazing, it was doing great, only toxic fans were trying to tank this series. And then, of course, we actually saw the sales numbers and it didn't look great. There was also a situation with the colorist exiting DC Comics, saying how he was tired of them ruining these characters. So there's been a lot of news surrounding this series, but it's only getting worse for DC. DC's Superman Son of Kal-El series is coming to an end following its 18th issue. However, we will get to see the publisher's new Superman star in a brand new miniseries in 2023. Now, we actually don't know that much about this besides the fact that they are planning to do a 6-issue miniseries arriving to comic shops in early 2023. It says, though, I couldn't be more excited for John Kent to headline the iconic adventures of Superman, Taylor said of the announcement. It's a real testament to the fantastic response of fans to John as Superman. Of course, Tom Taylor is instantly going into, there has been a great response by people, even though he was the one to go on social media and just outright attack people who were criticizing this show. He said, oh, it's doing great in sales, it's doing fantastic, people love it, yet the sales numbers that we at least know do not show that. Now, I actually remember when this series was officially announced, people were pretty excited for it. We were wondering what they were going to do, and then of course we heard Tom Taylor was part of it, and we heard that they were going to go in a new modern direction. And after that, of course, we expected it to be bad, but nobody expected Superman to be going to climate change rallies and screaming to the world about his boyfriend. It just felt very forced, and a lot of people ended up not supporting this series. There's been a lot of news surrounding, DC recently with series like this, and I had talked about this back in February, but despite Tom Taylor's deflection, new sales numbers showed DC Comics' woke Superman is a loser. It seems like this series never really got off the ground. People didn't end up giving it a chance, and I mean, it only went 18 issues, which is pretty terrible. I know these companies want new consumers. They're trying to get modern audiences to purchase their products. And of course, the idea of modern audiences is just absurd. People want the same content that they did 10, 20 years ago. And the closest individuals to a modern audience are SJWs. And clearly these individuals are not showing up to purchase these types of products. Unfortunately for DC, though, this series never really found its own audience because Tom Taylor and DC Comics' gay Superman book completely falls off the top 50 sales chart, and this was only a few months after launch. It says, though, Taylor has consistently attempted to defend his book's sales, albeit without providing any numbers, but the reality of time continues to prove his assertions simply aren't true. Back in February, he attempted to defend the book's sales, but actually confused the placement on the sales chart in November to the issue of the book. As part of a lengthy thread on Twitter, he wrote, wait, issue number 6 didn't even appear in December sales. What? The 5th issue of the book where Superman gets a boyfriend was in fact the 6th top-selling book on the ICV2's chart. As noted, the charts are unit and dollar sales ranks based on sales tracked of point of sale by Comic Hub system at stores selling American comics around the world, and he even bragged about the fact that it was in the top 10 as part of his thread writing on Twitter. Now, this was pretty confusing. I don't believe a story's worth is measured by its sales, but our Superman is selling pretty well. However, the book's 6th issue didn't release until January, so it wouldn't be on the December sales chart. I mean, he made himself look like an absolute clown by going on this rant saying, wow, it did great in December, when it didn't even release until January. And then when the series' 6th issue did come out in January, it was at the bottom of the charts, ranking at 42nd place on the unit chart. On the dollars chart, it was in 50th, dead last on the list, which of course is terrible for a series like this. I mean, you've got Superman, okay? You are marketing this as a Superman, Son of Kal-El series. It should do relatively well, but I guess people just don't want to read, again, about Superman going to climate change rallies. That just turned me off from this series. I used to love DC, okay? Every company has their misses. I can forgive a few misses, but at this point, DC is doing everything they can to not get my sales and get all of our sales. I have no problems with reading about bisexual characters in comics or novels or seeing them in video games or TV shows or movies. I have zero problems with bisexual characters in entertainment. My problem is the fact that that is the only trait that this character has, okay? He is just a character who's bisexual, who cares about all of these climate issues. That, to me, isn't going to sell a book when your character's prime trait is their sexuality. A sexuality should be a key piece of a character, but it shouldn't be all they've got going for them. And this was another giant situation that I had talked about, but Superman Son of Kal-El colorist exited DC Comics over the Superman motto change. I'm tired of them ruining these characters. After learning of DC Comics' recent decision to drop the American Way, the colorist announced that he will not seek to renew his contract with the publisher in protest of them ruining these characters. And this is how we have all felt for a very long time. Like Marvel, DC, they don't actually care about these amazing characters and their legacies. They just want to slap a new coat of paint on them and market them in a different way, saying, look at us, we're doing something new with these characters, even though these stories are only getting worse and worse. The people that are writing these series, that are coming up with these ideas, are just awful at their jobs. I've got to be honest. They have not a creative bone in their bodies, and they are just churning out absolute trash. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I really appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.